So question 9 then is an evaluative question, and it may be asking your son or daughter to discuss either balancing conflicting interests in law, how the law mentioned achieves justice for the citizen, or the morality issues that the human right raises. These will generally rotate from year to year and will also be dependent on what has been covered on other papers. This might also be a place where the harmony, margin of appreciation, or violation or contravention of human rights law within the British domestic law could be evaluated. It's also important to consider why the right should be protected. What would happen if it wasn't? What sort of society would we have? Are there any examples from other countries where the right was not protected, and what happens in that society? In 2019, the question asked about balancing conflicting interests of freedom of expression, which is the European Convention on Human Rights, Article 10, and protecting an individual's privacy and reputation, and how this was achieved through the laws on defamation in Britain. The question's worth 15 marks, and no more than 18 minutes should be spent answering this question. Question 10 is the first of the longer scenario questions. The human right being engaged may not be explicitly stated, and so your son or daughter will have to read and infer what the issues are. They'll need to give an account of what rights are granted by the article, what duties the state agents have, and what remedies are available if the rights have been violated. There'll generally be a bullet-pointed list to identify the kind of knowledge to demonstrate. Knowledge of relevant law will be needed, also how the European Convention on Human Rights and British law are balanced. In 2019, the scenario involved an animal rights activist group and their actions, which ones were permitted, which were criminal, and what powers the police had to prevent those that broke domestic law. There are 30 marks available for this question, and 36 minutes should be spent writing the answer. Again, certainty of the details in the article is essential, and if the cases are known, sometimes it's very easy to spot which one has been used as the basis for the scenario, and that should steer them in the right direction. The final question, question 11, is also a scenario question. Again, it's expected that your son or daughter will be able to correctly identify which human right is engaged, outline the scope of the human rights and its exceptions, so when the state can take action that's not in violation of the right, positive obligations, when action must be taken, negative duties, when action shouldn't be undertaken. These both need to be considered as well. Again, if the cases have been learned, it should be fairly easy to give the relevant information. In 2019, the scenario involved police action in regards to a gang, and knowing the 3 cases from Article 2 would have meant a good quality answer. There's always a final task that has the word assess, and it carries 7 of the 30 marks, so it needs completing as well as the scenario application. This draws on theories of justice or jurisprudence, and in 2019, the question was, assess the meaning and significance of classifying the right to life as a fundamental right. Again, question 11 carries 30 marks, so about 36 minutes should be spent answering. There's a number of ways that you can maybe help your son or daughter to produce a good response for their paper 3B on human rights. Ask them if they can explain the rights to you. That would be a good way if they were teaching you any gaps in their knowledge that should identify for them. Check that they're learning the relevant cases. I can't stress this enough. If they know the cases, then the scenarios become quite easy. And the other thing to do is look at news stories that are breaking. Do they concern human rights? Can you have a discussion about what the implications are and how what they've learnt in class might fit? In future videos, I'll talk about some of the resources that are out there and that have been produced and how they can be used to support learning for A-level law. Thank you for listening.